This is a tribute to sculptors because my style came from sculpture originally. If you'll see this line, the curvy line movement, my first mentor was a sculptor, and that was before, right at the time that I went from realism into the style that I paint today. And I loved the curvy line movement of my mentor. His name was Mel Fowler. He was a Lieutenant Colonel fighter pilot in 3 wars, World War II, Korean War, and the Vietnam War. And when he retired, he became an artist, a sculptor of marble. So this is really a tribute to him and opening my doors to my own style. I found my style through sculpture, and I have a great regard for sculpture. This is the first chimpanzee that was taught sign language, and her trainer, Janice Carter. There's a story behind everything. This is Fathers Be Still and Listen, and that's my deep feeling that fathers need to bond and be associated more with their children and their feelings of their children and communication with their children. I think that's starting to happen more today. This is a tribute to the people that were murdered trying to save our environment, the ones that made us aware of the endangered species. Diane Fossey, the Adamsons with the lions, and Chico Mendez with the rainforest. And when Chico Mendez was murdered, that did it. I had to do this painting because these people were being taken out left and right, trying to save what God gave us. And this is a jungle painting again. Devin and I were just talking about our painting of animals in jungles, and both of us have a very similar past with a lot of trauma. And I think the color and the connection with nature, living, and something positive coming out of living, and the power that comes out of color, it tells our story. It is what we are.
The child in us creates that canvas.
Yeah. And my animals are very peaceful. They're not aggressive. They're not scary animals.
Right.
And Devon's certainly are not scary animals.
Right.
You just want to cuddle up with them at night and go to bed. So.
And I'm listening to you, and I realized my heart people have been in very good hands having this mentor. I'm very blessed.
Well, tell us about your very, very special piece.
Okay. Has to do, I do a lot of dreams. Well, when I dream, if I feel, when I wake up the next day, if I remember it, and it's a real vivid dream, then I paint it. And all of those paintings that I handle that way turn out to be really important. This one was a dream that I was with, and I guess when I tell these stories, people probably think I'm a little nuts, but hey, that's okay too. I was with Picasso and Van Gogh when I painted this painting in my dream. And we walked into a room pretty much big like this gallery.
Right.
And there was every kind of medium that you could think of in this studio. And I was in awe because this is kind of an earlier piece in the dream, and thinking, oh God, it's all the canvas in the world and all the paints in the world. And back then I was very, very poor, and didn't have the money for materials.
Right.
So in this dream, it was like a fantasy.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was Picasso and Gauguin, and they inspire my work. All the impressionistic painters is what I drew from after studying art history, and that is what Devin does, is impressionistic work. I said, well, why don't we, in my dream, I said, why don't we do a painting together? And so Picasso goes, yeah, we're going to paint with some acrylics. And so Picasso goes, we're going to paint with some acrylics, because Gauguin, he missed the boat. And that's just the way he was talking. Because he missed the boat by not using acrylics. And I said, well, what would we title it? What would the title of the painting be? And Picasso goes, oh, just call it Gauguin's Beach with Coconuts, because Gauguin painted the women in the beach scenes in Tahiti. And so in my dream, the coconuts were real huge. In my dream, the painting was giant, and the coconuts were real big, and the corners of the painting, where I lived at the time, was very small. So I had to scale my painting down. But this is actually a painting that I painted with Van Gogh and Picasso. And it's called Gauguin's Beach. Not Van Gogh, but Gauguin's Beach with Coconuts is the title of it.
And it's fabulous.
Thank you.
Well, we have learned a lot of interesting facts. I'm sure you can take some of this information and run with it. I'm sure it will inspire you. So I would say that's the end of our field trip for today, and I'll return you back to the studio.